this is the beginning of our next mini unit. It's unit 4, and this is all about linear functions. That means we are looking at lines. So before we get started on the problems, I just want to take a second and kind of review what's going on with a line. So we have our X and our Y axis. And a line, yes, it's straight. It looks like this. Now, there's a couple of things that you have to know about a line. There's something called a slope, and that's how steep something is. And it has the same, remember, slope is the same thing as average rate of change. It has the same slope on the entire graph. It never changes. Another thing that we need for when we're graphing lines is the y-intercept. That's very important on the next page when we start making equations. So let's turn the page. That was just the table of contents. And today we're working on pages 1 and 2. As always, after you copy down your notes, please send me a picture on Google Classroom so that way I know you've done it. Now the graphics on this are not fantastic. Whoops. Neither is the orientation, it seems like. So here's our axes. It just kind of blended in with everything else. So what we have to do for this, if there's missing values on the table, we need to fill it in. And then we need to fill in all these blanks and graph our equation. So I'm going to start first with plotting all of the points. So we have -3, -7. That doesn't even show up. That would be like down here somewhere. So if something doesn't show up on your table, you can skip it. -2, -5 doesn't show up. How about -1, -3? That one worked. 0, -1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, with as straight of a line as you can, you're going to connect your points and make sure for all of these problems you put arrows. Now, one thing you have to do is you have to label your equation. I'm sorry, you have to label your line. So we do that using this work over here. So our y-intercept, you can look on your graph or you can look on the table when the x is 0. So our y-intercept is -1. And in the world of writing equations, we can write this, y equals -1, but the y-intercept is a b. Think of that as like a beginning number. Now this change of y, or change in y, as x increases by 1. So this is known as the slope. So you can look at your graph. We're going up 2, right 1 space. Up 2 spaces, right 1 space. So you could say the slope is up 2, right 1. Or you can look on your table. The x values are all going up by 1. The y values are all going up by 2. So it's 2 over 1. And this, by the way, is m. Think of that as your moving number. And then the last thing for writing an equation, the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. Hopefully you remember that from junior high. And what we have to do is put the 2 in the m spot, and this -1 goes in the b spot. So our equation is y equals 2x. You can say plus -1, or you can just write -1. Hopefully you didn't forget that, or hopefully it comes back pretty quickly to you. So if you're comfortable with this, what you can do is just pause the video, try it, try the problem, and then come back and check your work. In the meantime, I'm going to draw my axes, pull out my points. Now, this one has decimals. Ew. If you want to plot them, you can, but I am not. I'm just going to plot the whole number of points. I only plot decimals if I really, really need to. All right, that's it. And you can also, because the slope is the same, you can extend those points. So our y-intercept is right here when the x is 0. So I'm going to use b. Our y-intercept is 1. Our slope. Now, so to do slope, you pick any 2 points, and you always work from left to right. So for this, you always go up or down first. So I'm going to go down 1, right 2. So our slope is -1/2. You can also look at the x's. -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So these are all going up by 1, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1, 0.5, 0. These are going down. It looks like by a half a point each time, or a half a number. And that's where that comes from. You can use decimals or fractions, it's fine. And now our equation, y equals mx plus b. So y equals, our m is -0.5 or -0.5 x, and our b number is a 1. And there's your equation. Okay, number 3. I'm going to pause my video and plot points. Okay, so I plotted the points they gave me. Now you can use like your number sense if you want to fill in the table, but what I'm going to do is just look at my graph. So when x is -2, y is right in between there, it's 4. When x is 0, y is 3. Whoops, that's a really bad 3, sorry about that. When x is 2, that makes the point 2, 0. You could also just use patterns and see that the y is going down by 1 each time. That's fine. So our y-intercept, our starting number is 3. Remember when x is 0. Our slope, change in y, as x increases by 1. Well, it looks like it's going downhill, so that means we have to have a negative slope. I don't know why I just put a 1 there. We have to have a negative slope. And let's take a look at these numbers. The x's are always going down by 1s. Or sorry, up by 1s. My goodness. Hold on. I screwed this up. Our y-intercept is 2. Sorry. I can't count. Must be time for lunch. Now, our slope, our y values are going down by 1. So our slope is -1. We're going to write our equation now. Y equals mx plus b. So it's y equals -1x plus 2. And there's your equation. Let's go on to the next page. You are not given a whole lot of information on here. Who made this packet up anyway? Okay. So look, we went up by 1. So the x is going up by 1. To go from -9 to -5, you're adding 4. That's actually your slope. So for each problem, just add 4. -5 plus 4, -1, plus 4, 3, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. And now plot the points that you can plot. Not many on here. I can do -2, 5, -1, -1, 0, 3, and that's about it. I'm going to connect them. Take a sec, try to figure out what the slope and the y-intercept are. There's our starting, our y-intercept is 3, and we figured out the slope. It's going up by 4s. So our equation, y equals mx plus b. So we would say y equals 4x plus 3. Last 2 questions. Well, first of all, I'm going to make my axes hopefully viewable. Plot the points I can plot. Okay, that's all we've got. You could use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But, history's kind of shown that's not a great tool for us. So I'm going to count from this point to this point. And I'm going to go down and then over. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, 9. So down 9. So I'm going to do -9 and write 1, 2, 3 over 3. So your top number tells you if you're going up or down, and then your bottom number tells you if you're going left or right. So since -9 over 3 is -3. So that means our y value is going down by 3. So watch what I'm going to do over here. 8 minus 3 is 5, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. I just kept subtracting 3. Hopefully I did that correctly. Okay, so now connect my points. Our starting value is the y-intercept. And our equation, y equals mx plus b. If your b is a negative number, you could put plus -1, but you could also just use less ink and just write -1. Last problem on this page. For this one, let's see. Here's our origin, okay? We have to find points. So I'm going to find the y-intercept right there. That's a 3. So we know this is a 0, 3. Let's figure out, this is 1, 5. So I just saw that my y values are going up by 2. I can figure out the rest. Plus 2, plus 2. And then when we're going backwards, do the opposite. Yeah. So we just said before, we're going up by 2s. So our slope is 2. Remember, slope is m, y-intercept is b. Y equals mx plus b. You're going to practice the Delta Math assignment and make sure that you submit a copy of the work that you did to your Google Classroom assignment. And as always, if you have any questions, please ask.